Another option to visualize two continuous variables is a line plot. And the key strength of the line plot is basically to visualize changes over time, right? So in a line plot, you usually either have years or days or months in the x-axis, and you want to display how something changes over time. You want to display a trend, and this is what the line graph does. So in R here, I'm going to show you how to do that with our students' data set. We're going to actually visualize how students' grades change with time and how the average grade of all the students at the universities actually changes each year for which we have data. Okay, so back in the previous week, we actually learned how to restructure data, right? From a wide format to a long format. And this is what we need to do here. If we go to our original students data set, we see that all the grade variables are in wide format. So we have for each year a separate variable, grade point average 2010 all the way up to 2020. So what we need to do is, to produce the ggplot, we need to first rearrange them, reshape them, or restructure them, right? You can go back to previous weeks to repeat how we did that. The shortcut is here, pivot longer. We want to pivot longer any variable that contains the GPA underscore character. And we want to create a year variable that indicates the corresponding year of the grade point average. And we want to put all the values into a new variable called GPA. Then, well, let's first run that, see what it looks like. If you just highlight that section and run it, it will just run that particular code. Now let's find our object line graph. Here it is. Now it has 11,000 observations, right? Many more. And we see that we have a new variable called year and a new variable called GPA. It just contains the grade point average for that particular student and year. Let's change it. We want to change the year variable to take the GPA underscore out. So we'll just leave it with the actual year without the prefix GPA. Because if you look at the students data set here, we see, you know, the values contained in it. The values contained in it have GPA underscore 2010. We just want the 2010. You can do this with a so-called string function. And we use the mutate function and then have a new variable, or replace the year variable with a substring of year. And we basically replace the year variable and replace the GPA string combination with nothing, right? Which basically means erasing it, erasing that section of the variable. We're also going to turn year into a numeric variable and GPA into a numeric variable. Let's do that, see what it looks like. Okay. And we see that it worked. Now we just have the year here in this variable. And we wanted to do that because when we put it on the graph, right, we just want the year shown and not the prefix there. Okay, we're now going to then summarize, we're going to group this data by year and then summarize the grade point average by year. And you know how to do this. We've done it in the past. We use the summarize function, create a new variable which represents the mean of the grade, and we exclude missing values. Okay, let's run that. You see way fewer observations, only 11 left, and now we have actually for every year we have a grade point average, and this data is now in long format, and long format is really preferred by ggplot. So in the same command, we just pipe it and then use the ggplot function. We tell ggplot that the year is on the x-axis and that the average grades are on the y-axis, and then we just simply use the geom line, which is going to produce a line graph. Let's check it out. Here we go. This is the development of the average grade point average over the years 2010 to 2020. We see grades seem to be improving with time, except for 2016-17. I don't know what was going on there, but a real dip in the grade trend, let's say. All right, this is how you produce a line graph.